What's going on, guys? This is Taylor, and I know that generally when I talk about things, I kind of just say it with sarcastic tones or joking demeanor because I really don't like to take things that seriously usually. But today I want to talk about a story that is pretty serious and it means a lot to me. And it's weird to say that because I hadn't thought about this instance in years, like literally years. I hadn't thought about this, and just randomly walking home from class today, I just my mind just focused on this one memory, and I just really just myopically just kept thinking and mulling it over in my head and tossing it around. And I thought, you know what, this is one of those stories that would probably be beneficial for people to hear. And so I apologize that this isn't one of those amusing, funny videos, but I think it's important nonetheless. So this story pretty much begins in 6th grade, when I was in 6th grade. And you have to know, from my 6th grade, I was the oldest in the school. Now, most schools, the way they work is you go from kindergarten to 5th grade, and then middle school goes from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. My school went from kindergarten to 6th grade, and then middle school was 7th and 8th grade. And so instead of being, most people as 6th graders were like the smallest fish in the biggest pond, I, on the other hand, was still experiencing the world of being a big fish in a small pond in 6th grade. And consequently, I kind of we all really started to understand what was cool a little bit earlier. And so this was kind of our awkward age where we really started to figure out what pop culture was and just how we were supposed to act to be perceived as cool. Everybody listening to NSYNC and whatnot and all the cool things at the time. And there was this one kid in my class, we'll call him Dylan. And this kid, Dylan, was kind of goofy, he was really into fantasy novels, he was really into a lot of weird stuff that wasn't, completely seen as normal by the rest of us. And this kid was ruthlessly and just unambiguously mocked every day, all the time, incessantly, and without mercy. He was constantly made fun of, verbally abused and berated for no reason, other than the fact that clearly, it's not a mystery. Like, we don't have to pretend like we don't know why kids make fun of each other. We know exactly why kids at this age make fun of each other. It's because they're insecure in themselves and they want to project their insecurity onto others to draw attention away from the fact that they are the ones who are really feeling weird about themselves. And usually the people who are made fun of are the ones who are actually conforming to who they want to be, as opposed to, fitting into a little niche where you're told. But anyway, all this to say that this kid, Dylan, was incessantly made fun of. He had a really, really shitty time at this school. He joined our school kind of late. Most of us knew each other from kindergarten up. I think he came in like 4th grade, so he's already kind of like an awkward duck coming on in. And everybody just leapt at that opportunity to just make fun of him. And not to toot my own horn or anything, but I never did make fun of him. I never got into like fights with him or anything. I never made fun of him. I never picked on him or anything like that. Now, I wasn't his best friend, and I wasn't really overtly nice to him, but I just went out of my way to make sure that when I did have contact with him, even if it was only, once a week or so, doing a project or asking for a colored pencil or something, I would be nice to him, and I went out of my way to do that because I had a lot of pity in my heart for this kid. I felt so bad for him, and it got to the point that this kid was getting made fun of all day, all the time. Like, I was surprised that this kid hadn't left school yet. It was unbelievable. Just like I did not realize this is the best way to say it. I did not realize the full potential of how cruel 11 and 12-year-old kids can be until I saw the treatment of this kid by my fellow classmates and my peers, and it was absolutely disgusting. And it got to the point that this kid was so lonely and didn't have anyone to talk to or hang out with that his dad actually called my mom and wanted to see if I would spend the day with he and his son and go to a baseball game, go to a Cardinals game. And the Cardinals are like the biggest sport around here. Everybody loves going to Cardinals games. And as the kicker, it was during a school day. And so I was going to get to skip school to go to a sports game with this kind of awkward, weird kid, Dylan, and his dad. And at first, when my mom told me this, I was like, oh shit, I can't believe this is going to happen. I knew that being nice to that kid was going to backfire. I knew I was going to have to do something about it eventually. Now he's going to want to come over or something and be best friends, and then he's going to talk to me at school, and then I'm going to get made fun of because they're going to go say, oh look, Taylor's hanging out with that awkward kid Dylan. Now he's awkward too. Let's all ruthlessly pick on him too. And so I was there having a little, 12-year-old kid crisis, like shit. I don't want to get made fun of too. How can I avoid this situation? And I told my mom that I wasn't sure I wanted to go, and unexpectedly, I didn't expect her to say, oh, you can make your own decision. I thought that she was going to say, no, you have to go. But she said, no, Taylor, you can make your own decision and decide whether or not you want to go to the game with Dylan. And so I thought about it that night, mulled it over in my head, and later in the night, my dad approached me about it, and he asked me about the situation. I told him about it, and he told me that he didn't want to tell me what to do, but that he thinks it'd be a really nice gesture for me to go to the game with that kid. And looking back, I realize now exactly why my dad said that, and I am only very fortunate that I took both he and my mother's advice. And so I decided to go to this game with this kid and his dad, and go to the baseball game and skip half a day of school for it. And what I didn't realize until right before the event is that since we were both at school and we're going to get called out early to go to this game, that they were going to announce over the PA system, Taylor and Brian go to the office for early dismissal for the Cardinals game or whatever. And I was freaking out again. I was like, oh shit, now they're going to know that we just both didn't get called out at the same time. Now they're going to know that I'm actually hanging out with this kid outside of school. Oh no, it's collapsing again. So I started freaking out in class, and I'm like, I'm dreading that moment when the PA is going to bing on and I'm going to get called out, and I just imagine this scenario where I'm just getting laughed at by everyone. Completely unrealistic, I know, but that's what I'm imagining because I was a kid. The PA system does announce it, and they call us both to the office, and that was the first instance of my life that I can remember back to where I properly utilized the art of not giving a fuck. I walked out of there like I didn't give a shit about anything. Nobody, and that was the trick to it. When you're that young, that's all it takes. If you act like you don't care about something, people aren't going to make fun of you for it because they're thinking, oh, he doesn't care anyway. Why make fun? And that was really all it took. And that's kind of anticlimactic, but that's really all it took. And I ended up going to this game with this kid and had a great time with he and his dad, and really just kind of got to know him better. And I enjoyed my time with him. And the reason that this story is so important to me is that about 2 years after I went to this game, Dylan died of a brain tumor. A few months, I think, after we left for 6th grade, he was diagnosed with it. And because he went to a different school than I did, he went to a different 7th grade, and I went to a different 7th grade, as I was saying. I didn't really know about any of this stuff, and so I wasn't really caught up with it. And so I didn't know about his, medical problems and what was going on until he died. And so out of nowhere, when I was in 8th grade, this kid, my mom mentioned, she's like, oh, do you remember Dylan from 6th grade? It's so sad. He just died from a brain tumor. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. That's so surreal. This kid that I went to school with died of a brain tumor at such a young age. And it was kind of then that I realized that, like, that day that I spent with him, just hanging out watching a baseball game, like that, to me, that was just a day where I went to a baseball game with a kid that was kind of goofy that I used to get out of school. But for him, it wasn't like that. For him, it was, just a fun day where he got to finally have a friend. For him, it was a day where he was accepted for who he was, and he didn't have to worry about getting critiqued from the back of the classroom or laughed at or tripped or pushed on the playground or made fun of because he had acne and was kind of, goofy looking and liked fantasy novels so much. He didn't have to worry about any of that day. He just got to go to a baseball game with me and just hang out and just have a good time. And it sounds really stupid, but that's a beautiful image to me, just to think that this kid's whole life was so shitty, and he got it robbed away from him at such a young age. He never got to experience even the fun parts of childhood that myself and my friends got to. And it's just cool to think that for that one, just that glimpse of a day that I got to share with him and really just enjoy just a bond with him and just have a good time with him. And for me, I wish I could have, I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back to 6th grade and spend more time with this kid and be nice to him and make his life a little bit better, knowing that this horrible ailment would strike him and he would die. But I can't do that. I can't go back and change anything that I did. So I'm going to have to live the rest of my life knowing that the only real nice thing that I did for this kid was spend one afternoon with him almost out of pity. And that's pretty much all that I did for this kid. And the sad thing is that's more than he got from most other kids. And that's why it's so sad, is you don't know who these kids are going to be who are going to end up dying early, who are going to end up having horrible afflictions. You don't know that. And so I would just encourage you guys, I realize maybe I just rambled off a little bit in this video, but just take the initiative every once in a while. If you see someone who's struggling and you see that they don't have any friends, just go up and talk to them. Just don't be afraid of what assholes think about it. And the reason I say this is because I realize that the vast majority of my audience are still in middle school and high school, and you guys still have an opportunity to go out there and help people who have problems like this. And just, you don't have to be a superhero best friend of all time who takes them out every weekend and buys them ice cream. Just be nice to them. Just, show attention and don't be don't even, smirk when other people make fun of them. Don't even, approve of when people are being, even passive dicks to them. Just, draw a line in the sand and say, no, fuck you. Don't make fun of them. I'm going to be on their side if you take up, arms against them again. And so just go out of your way to be nice to these people. And I know this sounds like a stupid friggin' PBS special, and I hate that. I hate it. But I mean, there's no other way for me to put it. And so, I'm sorry that this video wasn't my normal thing where I kind of make jokes and am sarcastic about a lot of stuff, but this is something that, it should be more important to me, and it's kind of a lesson that I learned early in life that I'm only now truly appreciating, that, even a small act for someone can really just make all the difference. So that's all I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed. Love you.